I've gotten a few requests to do an update on what I'm carrying for the 2024 wildfire season. So in this video, we'll get into it. So it is Sunday, July 7th. We just hit PL3, which is right where we should be historically, kind of right on the average of a normal fire season, which historically are also busier and bigger than average. So everything's just kind of spooling up. Before I get too much into this video, real quick shout out to my guys over at University Hospital in Ohio. Their tactical medical division sent me over one of their shirts. I appreciate it, guys. So thank you for that. Right now going on, there are 25 uncontained large fires. There are 7 new large incidents, 5 contained large fires, and 2 type 1 incident management teams that are committed. This is right in line with me as a contractor. It takes a lot of coordination. I'm already off of work all of August and all of September. Obviously that takes a lot of doing and planning and everything's ready to go, but I'm set. August should be just as busy, if not busier, followed by September. So getting my stuff ready to go. We're gonna walk you through it with any updates that we've made. Okay, this is the Mercury Tactical Monster Gear Deployment Bag. It is 6,851 cubic inches of space. It's got a pretty decent pocket on the front, which you can zipper off if you don't need it, but does allow you to open it up, give you a little bit of storage and some things inside. One thing, if you go down fires, losing your bag with all of your gear would be awful. I always stick an air tag in my gear, that way I can see if it's on the plane with me, or if it wouldn't make it to my destination, I can always pull up my phone, see where it is, let the airline know, hey, I'm tracking my bag. It's right here to help them try to locate it as quickly as they can. There's also a small zipper pocket on the front that you can get access to. The biggest thing about this bag, which I think I like it the most, is there's no preset organization in it. It's basically just a big blank open space, minus the little elevated sections for the wheels. You can pretty much do what you want with it. It does have a small little cargo net section right there. You can put some other small items in, but it's basically a blank slate, so you can kind of set this up how you need to, and I find that to be extremely important. The other thing, the 3 wheels, I have loaded this thing up. This is going to be on season number 2, and last year it held up great, so as long as it continues to do what it has been doing, I'll be happy with it. All right, the first thing we're sticking in the bag, obviously we need to sleep. This year again, what I've used for the last 4 seasons is this REI Camp Dome 2. This tent is still going strong. Weighs in right at 4 pounds, 8 ounces, 5 pounds when it's all packed up. Weight is obviously an important factor as you're packing your gear. 1, the airline's going to charge you fees. 2, you would have to jump on a helicopter. They kind of need to know what your gear weighs. So just important to keep that in mind. You're going to want some sort of ground pad. It's nice to have, help keep the tent dry. That's all that is. Steak-wise, I said before, get good tent stakes. These MSR groundhog steaks have been awesome and haven't let me down, so I can't recommend these highly enough. The other thing we're pulling out with that, of course, is your hammer to hammer those tent stakes in. This is always a piece of gear. I know I brought it up in the last video, but I figured it was worth repeating. The tent itself is listed as a 3-season, 2-person tent, has a peak height of 43 inches, and is primarily made of polyester. Okay, as far as our sleeping bags go, or should I say now, sleep systems, that's really what these things are, our systems to try to give you the maximum comfort. Last year was our first year using it. We're sticking with it. The Nemo Forte men's, it's a 20-degree bag. It's pretty much listed as a 3-season bag, which is perfect. We're using a 3-season tent. The thing I like about this is the zippered vents that it has. It also has the spoon style shape, so it's not quite a mummy bag, but not quite a rectangular bag. It's kind of in the middle, so if you're a little bit of a side sleeper, you can get some comfort in there. That's why I really choose to like this. Past the sleeping bag, the next part of our sleep system would be the ground pad. If you remember last year, I was using the Haven Tent Camping Hammock air pad that came with that just because it was so wide, so thick, had a nice R value, was very comfortable, and it worked well for the most part, but due to some changes this year, operationally and as far as responsibilities go, I had to tweak my sleep system. So as far as our sleeping pad goes, we're going with the Thermarest Trail Scout in the regular size. It comes small, medium, regular, and large. I chose to go with regular just because of size and weight considerations. It is extremely lightweight, primarily made for backpacking. I think I have a way to make this work well for the fire season. I used this about 2 seasons ago, and I was complaining because I kept rolling off the sides of it, and I thought that it was really uncomfortable. I found a way to fix that. We'll get into it in a second. One thing of note here, it is listed as a self-inflating sleeping pad. I'm not a fan of self-inflating because it never seems to self-inflate as much as it should. Can you blow into this with your mouth? No, it's never a good idea. You will introduce moisture that will create mold. It can also freeze if it gets cold enough, and you'll just be colder. So I am still going to bring my portable air pump, which I keep right here in the bag with it. This is by Flextail Gear. If you haven't seen these are awesome. One, they act as a little light with a hook you can hang in your tent. It gives you a nice little lamp if you would need one. All you do is recharge it from its port on the side. I've never had to recharge this mid-season. I charge it at the start of the season and it lasts the whole year. The battery life on it is pretty good. There's a little button you press, hook this up, put it on the port of your sleeping pad. It'll inflate it with no moisture, inflates it very quickly. I think these are a lifesaver. So my way of combating rolling off the side because of how small and narrow that sleeping pad is I did this early spring out in Montana. Using a Bivy Sack, I did it with a Haven first. I had my Haven sleep pad in there, then my Nemo Forte on top of that, and then both of those things were inside this Bivy Sack, this Bivy cover. It worked out perfect, minus the fact the Nemo sleep pad was a little bit too thick and my feet were getting compressed at the end. The Thermarest is much, much thinner. I think that's going to alleviate that problem completely, but it kind of locked the whole system together so that no matter how I turned or where I went, everything stayed where it was supposed to. So that seems like a huge win. Another really good win about this Bivy Sack is, number one, if we do get spiked out a whole bunch, I'll basically be able to sleep on the ground with this and still not feel like I'm laying on the ground. Gives you a waterproof barrier, gives you another extra layer from the elements from the ground, the bugs, everything else that you don't want to deal with. So this should be awesome. Sleeping on the ground is not fun. One of the things I do my best to combat that is with my hammock. I always bring this. Obviously this holds no R value, you are suspended. So I think with that Thermarest sleeping pad being smaller, the Bivy cover giving me some protection from the elements, and my 20-degree bag, if I'm suspended in this, should make for a pretty comfortable night's sleep. Also with this sleep system, if it's way too hot out and that 20-degree bag is just way too much, or if it gets really, really cold and the 20-degree bag is not enough, the one thing I'm bringing is my Sea to Summit Reactor Fleece Liner. You can either use this just as a sleeping bag if it's really, really hot and you just want to have just a little bit of insulation on you, or if it's really, really cold, you can get into this and then get into your sleeping bag for some added warmth. The last thing in our sleep system is going to be what we're actually wearing. So with that, I'm just bringing a full set, top and bottoms of 100% polyester, kind of no insulation, should keep you dry and decently warm, especially when it's paired with everything else in your system. I almost forgot, depending on where you're headed to, if you've never been to Alaska can be very, very buggy. So maybe this is part of the sleep system. Not sure, it could just be an everyday thing. This is the Sea to Summit head net. And basically all this is just a mosquito netting. You throw it over your head, keep the bugs off of you, especially while you're sleeping, especially if you're spiked out in that hammock. This could literally keep you from going insane. Okay, so right from there, we just talked about my sleep system as far as what I'm wearing. I'm a big fan of these packing cubes. These are right off of Amazon. MAUHOSO is the brand. They're lettered, which is kind of nice. I always like to put a label on them, so if it's dark, you have your headlamp on, you're trying to see what you're looking for. So in here, I keep some running shorts with me if I get some downtime. I'm a big PT fan, so I go for a run, do some sort of workout. I got shorts in there to do it. Or to wear as pajamas, that's why they're in there with my sleep pillows and PJs. So that would be bag one. Bag two, tons of socks, at least 14 pairs. I bring 16 pairs and I bring a couple of the shorter ones. Again, if I have my shorts on, we have some downtime, I'm on my 1 day off or 2 days off, I can go for a run and not look silly wearing boot socks while I'm trying to go for a run. This bag is shirts. Again, 14 t-shirts. There's 3 long sleeve t-shirts in here. You want to bring enough at least to get you to your 3 or 14 week deployment straight. If you have to be spiked out a whole bunch on your mandatory 2 days off, if you're going into the 3rd week, you should have time to go to a laundromat, get some laundry done. That's why 14 is kind of a good number to be there. The last one past that, and we need to see it, my 14 pairs of underwear. Merino wool is what I always like because of the 1, their comfort, 2, their moisture wicking, 3, they're antimicrobial, so they get a little bit less stinky than your synthetic materials would. So just a good one. They are a little bit pricey to start out with, but as you build them up, they last a while, and they're the best things I've found so far. Keeping with the clothing, as far as your daily wear when you're operational, I carry 1 extra pair of greens as far as pants go, and then of course my primary set, your shirt, your pants. A good rule of thumb, little trick almost, is to maybe throw this in a backpack, wear your green pants on your flight over to where you're going. I keep my helmet with me, I keep my greens with me. Pretty much anything you need to be operational, have with you. So God forbid they would use your luggage, you can at least show up to the fire. Should be able to check out a tent or something from supply, but at least you'll be comfortable in your own clothing and not be wearing the government issued stuff. The reason I'm such a fan of the coaxial material, 1, it's very soft compared to the standard issue stuff that they want to give out. 2, it has vents kind of strategically placed through these things, which when it's super hot, it's just nice to be able to get some air going through you, open these up, let some air get across your body. And unlike the government issued ones, it has pockets, and the pockets come in handy for a bunch of different things. Same with the pants. They have vents as well. They have the cargo pockets. So I'm a fan of coaxial. There are better brands out there. I'm sure the guys that use some of this stuff a lot harder. Crew Boss comes to mind. Those hold up really, really well, but these have definitely worked out decent for me. So keeping with the clothing, going to the outer layers, the one thing I will say is every fire that I've been on, it has gotten cold. My first season, I was out, I brought a hooded sweatshirt with me. I didn't even know why I was bringing it, but I was so glad that I did, or I would have froze. Now I've gotten to the point that I'm actually bringing a down jacket with me. The one that I prefer, this is the Kuyu Kenyi jacket. It is a down jacket. It is super lightweight. It's got a bunch of features. It's got pit zips on both sides, zippered hand pockets. You can actually stow this in either of the inside pockets that it has. That's how small it will break down. Super lightweight, but at the same time, very, very warm. So this has been a lifesaver. I've actually gotten to the point that it has been so cold, but I also bring a kind of thinner wool hat with me. This one actually has LED lights built into it, which if you're working at nighttime, you can look around, look in your bag, find stuff in your tent. This has been really good too. One thing I don't like to do while I'm out on the line is wear sunscreen, just because of the inability to wash it off you kind of at the end of the day in certain circumstances. So I always bring my neck gaiter with me, just have this on the back of your neck so you don't scorch the back of your neck. Other than that, you're going to be in pants, you're going to be in long sleeves. The sun's not that big of a factor. Just keep your ears and your neck safe. Out the clothing, footwear wise, these gravel gear kind of logging boots have held up now for the 3rd season. They're still going strong. I'm going to stick with these. I've had no issues with them. One thing you are going to want to make sure you have with you are shower shoes. When you get a chance to take a shower, make sure you got something to put on your feet. I will tell you, the people who run the showers do not let you wear the shoes you wore from your tent into the showers just because of mud and the dirt. Really can't blame them for it. I always bring a pair of running shoes with me. Again, if I get a chance to work out, I can throw them on. But it's just one of those things. If you're going from your tent to go get clean, you're probably fine wearing your boots. However, once you're clean, you probably don't feel like putting these boots back on to wear back. And again, they don't want you wearing your shower shoes. So having a pair of running shoes with you, or a second pair of flip-flops, whatever, just something you can wear from your tent to the showers. Put your shower shoes on, get out of the showers, put something else back on your feet that are not your boots to get you back to your tent. Get into some of the gear wise. Helmet hasn't changed anything. Still using just the regular Wildland Fire helmet with the hood, chin strap. Gotta have some sort of light on there. Clearly marked with reflective stickers. Those are good to go. Responsibility wise, like I said, some things have changed. This year, there's been a lot of REMS requests. So if I'm going out as a REMS medic, I want to use more of a rescue rappel style helmet. This is the Team Wendy, one of their tactical bump helmets. Again, still has a light on it. I have a light marker on it in case we're doing something at night. And then Rant is in reflective as well. Super comfortable. I wear this at the other job as well. A lot of experience in the Team Wendy helmet. Highly, highly recommend. Since I did just mention there's been a lot of REMS requests, we'll go right into a harness. The harness I choose to wear is the CMC Ranger Rescue style harness. This normally just comes as a class 2 seat style harness. I chose to add the chest harness onto it as well, just from doing years of operations and realizing, hey, there's some benefits as far as comfortability goes, as far as practicality goes on where you can hook things up. So that kind of turns it into a class 3 harness. It's pretty lightweight. I like the Cobra buckles for all the attachment points. Everything's pretty easy and simple to complex. There's no complex operating systems on it. So pretty basic, but has done me well. Some personal gear that I always like to have on me if I have that harness on. One, my personal descent device. I always bring my Pitzel rig. These are technical use rated. They are NFPA rated. They are rated to use for rescue. The thing I liked about them is they're very simple. It doesn't have the panic feature in it, which I actually prefer for a magnitude of reasons. The one thing that it does lack compared to some of the others is it doesn't have that high efficiency pulley built into it, but there's ways to overcome that, or we just switch out to a clutch or a maestro and make the changes as we need to. Past that, these little Pitzel T-blocks just for quick access, quick rope grabs, put a mechanical advantage system onto a rope. These are super easy to do, much easier than trying to tie a prusik. So I like carrying 2 of those with me. I do carry 2 webbing slings, a hollow block, and 2 prusiks as well, whether it's for self-rescue, whether it's, again, just for helping build a system, whatever the case may be, I always have these on me as well. In addition to that, since you're going to be doing rope work, obviously, or at least anticipating to do rope work, one of the things you have to make sure you have on you is a good pair of gloves. Rope rescue gloves, whether they're Pitzel, PMI, Ringers, as long as they have a leather palm, they allow for good dexterity, allow you to work with the rope. Those are all good. Make sure you have a nice pair of gloves with you. Another important thing to protect, not only your hands, but also your eyes, whether it is from the sun, whether you're operating under night vision, you don't want to get poked in the eye with a stick, whether you're using a chainsaw, or there's guys using chainsaws around you, whether it's dirt falling, rocks falling. I would hate for you to get taken out of the fight, or for myself to get taken out of the fight because a piece of dust or debris or a tree got in my eye and now I can't do anything. So the fact that there's sunglasses as well as safety glasses, the Oakley M frames are my go-to. Just have a good pair of sunglasses / safety glasses with you all the time. Always when you're going to be issued a radio. It's always nice to have a nice radio chest harness. If you guys watch my radio videos, you know I wear this thing all the time just for the radio testing or for the wildland deployments. This thing has gotten drugged through the mud, still going strong. I like the fact that it can hold 2 radios. I also like the fact of its center pocket. I keep my gloves in there. I keep a Fox 40 whistle in there for signaling, a pen across the top, just important stuff you may need to grab right then and there, and you don't want to be without it. As far as I do bring a radio with me, the Alliance HD1 is the radio I use as my go-to. The reason being that the front panel programming capability of this is so easy, whether it is the fire frequencies that we're on, obviously those are just analog repeaters, nothing to it. But even the DMR stuff, if we're in areas where I have not had cell phone coverage and I needed to talk to people back at home, we kind of have a system in place and we iron things out right before I go. But once I get out there, I will dial into the DMR repeaters, find the statewide frequency that's on there. If they have TAC 310, 311, 312, whatever it is, put those in there. And while there is no cell phone coverage, being able to get in touch with people at home, especially for an emergency, is very nice to have. Okay, again, going on as a paramedic. I always bring my own ears with me. Obviously, Lippmann is your go-to. I like having my stethoscope. The Raptor shears, extremely versatile. Always have my Raptor shears with me. My Fortrex 601. Again, you guys see me on the radio testing videos. If you guys are carrying this stuff, or if you have it and you've never used it and you don't train with it, just like anything else that we're doing, it's pointless. It's going to fail you. You're not going to know how to use it. That's why I incorporate it in basically like the day-to-day activities that I do. It's got the larger display screen. That's why everybody asks me, well, why don't you just use your watch? It's got a larger display screen. I can display multiple fields at once. That way I can look at lat and long as well as US National Grid if I need to. Maybe it's the temperature, anything, or even the map that can come up in there. Anything that I would need it to do, I pretty much know how to do and can do very quickly by carrying the 601. Notepad and paper, gotta have that. Right in the rain, a marker, pen. This keeps you protected. Paper inside, you're ready to go. It's always nice also, have a good flashlight with you. I don't like carrying flashlights that are rechargeable just because if you are in a place where you can't recharge them, that kind of sucks. So it's nice to have something you can unscrew, have batteries, throw them in, carry extras with you. These are CR123s, which can be hard to replace. I also have the insert, which allows you to kind of make that into 3 AAAs. So if you have that option, AAA batteries are obviously easier to come across than CR123s. However, to fire, if you have the option, I can tell you, AA's will be everywhere. Anything you can get that can make something work off AA's, get those, you should be set. Always carry some cordage, whether it's helping with your tent, whether it's doing a repair, shoelaces, bootlaces, whatever the case. Cordage is good. Always bring my charger. It's nice that I can recharge off of solar. I can also run or charge 3 things at the same time. This is a really nice one. As far as the amp hours on this go, people are going to ask 25,000 milliamp hours. So this can put out. It's also got a light on the back if you need it. It's kind of convenient. Again, because I told you, AA's will be everywhere, AAA's not so much. I carry a sleeve of AAA batteries with me. That replaces the Garmin, that replaces my headlamp light, so I'm covered there. One thing I will run off of that juice box all night long is my little fan. For one of those people that has to have a fan blowing on you, this is just an Amazon buy. It's so nice when you're out there if it's really hot. Makes you feel comfortable. I do carry a personal med kit, so inside of here, I can tell you right off the bat, there's just gonna be my emergency blanket if I would need it, decompression needles, 2 different styles of tape, chest seals, tourniquet, wound packing, pretty much all of the trauma-related stuff that we are very, very used to in dealing with in the TECC type situations. Just in addition to that, I carry this like bite and sting relief cream, Pepto. There's also a baggie in here with Band-Aids, cough drops, Dayquil, NyQuil, Neosporin, all the little creature comfort stuff that you may need to get, especially for you, because if you're not comfortable, you're not really to take care of anybody else and make them comfortable. So always good to be able to take care of yourself. So beyond this, it's kind of just your toiletries and personal items. I do bring noise canceling headphones, mainly for the plane. I do bring my iPad with me, put a couple movies on there. Again, if the plane rides over, or it's just downtime or on your days off. Just little things like that are good to have. If you have any questions with that, ask them in the comments. I can tell you what that is. I just wanted to cover the main fire-related stuff and REMS-related stuff for the 2024 season. So with that, if you're going out there, be safe, and we'll see you back next time.